Well, hi, my name is Stephanie Wesslemann. I am here today with my neighbor and my friend, JD Walker. So I have known you now, I think, for about 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Um, and in that time frame, about 4 years ago, you actually lost your vision. So it's recently come to my attention that you have a new passion project for music, and I want to talk to you about that and hear what you have to say. So, can you tell me a little bit about what led up to your vision loss and why we're talking about your project here today?
Well, the vision loss is, some people call it blind. I don't like that word because I'm not blind. I can navigate around and see. But I have a rare optic nerve problem. So my eyes are great. So if you ever need a good eye, come gouge one out. But I woke up one day 4.5 years ago, the day after Thanksgiving, and I couldn't see anything out of either eye.
Mm.
And at first I thought, okay, it's dark outside and maybe too many beers last night. And I started realizing as I stumbled around in things, I can't see anything. And we spent 5 days in hospitals going through different neurological tests, and they decided your eyes are fine, but your optic nerves are damaged. So that's that cable that goes from your eye to your brain. So I see out of my left eye a pretty good field of view, but it's only 20% of what anybody else would see. I see everything, but it's only 20% of the dots in that picture. So everything is not clarified, if that's a
Mm.
great way to put it. It's kind of like driving with little raindrops on the windshield. You can see the image. There's somebody on a bicycle, but you can't tell who it is.
Mm.
That's what I see. My right eye, I see light and dark, but I can't do much less anything else with that.
And when that happened to you, how did it affect your ability to work, do the job that you were doing, affect your passion projects, things like that?
Well, it's funny that at that time, I hadn't, I tie this to music. At that time, I had just written a song and recorded the first version of it with a bunch of really cool people who agreed to help me because I hadn't played any music in more than 20 years. So I'm totally out of touch, and I had moved here from California, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't know any engineers. I didn't know any good studios. I didn't know any musicians. I hadn't played in 20 years. So I had to go through that whole process. And I finally got to a point where I found a young man who agreed to help me, which he did an amazing job. And I had a couple of different singers singing. It was a couple lady singer friends. And I had a good song I thought recorded. And then we realized we need to make it a little bit bigger. The story kind of doesn't flow well in the words, the verses. And I try to tell a story with a song, right? So I decided I need to do a longer version to adding another verse to it. And I had recorded the music for that side of it, and it was a live take, was the concept we were going after. And then my vision thing happened.
Mm.
So that became, at first, when I got home after 5 days in the hospital, I thought, I'm just going to keep going. I'll get over this. Like everything else in life, you just keep moving forward. And I don't know, 3 or 4 months into it, and after visit after visit after visit with neurologists, your vision's not going to get better. Your optic nerves don't heal themselves, and I got in a really dark space, for a
Mhm.
while, and it got bad. It got to a point like, why do I need to even be here anymore? I've had a pretty cool life. I got a great family around me, and I think that that's the thing that saved me was having the family around me. I had amazing support. I have great neighbors who, everybody helped me out. So that's why we're here. And we still are able to work doing what we do. My wife drives me and helps me with the reports and define the things that I can't see or read on my own. So we're still going at it.
Mhm.
Can't knock me down. You can knock me down, but you can't keep me down.
I love that. So your music and your family, it sounds like, is what's keeping you moving forward. So tell us about this specific project and how this project is encompassing music and your family and helping you find this passion or harness this passion and move forward in your life.
Oh, it's when I got through my little, I'm going to call it my dark time, because I was really, really, I was kind of like, I don't need to be here anymore. That's literally what was going through my head. Great neighbors, which you and your husband are. We live in a fabulous neighborhood. I have grandkids that are just the soul of us right now. They just make you happy. Even when they're crying or fussing over things, they make me happy, and they inspired me to write songs, which is kind of my way of expressing things that I could have never written had I not gone through this. Mm-hmm. So if you can put that into context, they say the best blues come from living them. I guess in a form, this is a real life blues scenario, for lack of a better term, right? Mm-hmm. I could write about things I could have never thought of, and I have a lot of good stuff from it. So again, we're taking those lemons and turning them into lemonade.
Well, it's exciting, your project with Roman, the two of you collaborating and, coming together and making this project into a story that you can share with lots of other people. So is there anything else that you want to share about this project or about your music, about your life, about anything else that's related to J.D. Walker that you want to share today?
I really have a blessed life. I've been through a lot of things. My wife has been through so much. And my passion is now to inspire other people. The best definition is, if I can do something that's positive that inspires someone else to through an obstacle or to move to another level in their life experience, in their marriage, in their, whether they're an athlete or somebody going through a hard time at job. Inspiration is what we all need at time to time. Mm-hmm. You need it. I need it. We all need it. So that's kind of the project. I met Roman because of a project he has, and he has a company called Passion Project. And I was working with somebody about trying to find some soundtrack for a film. And I had this great song I wrote about meeting somebody, and it could be any of us at any time. And that person inspired you and moved you. And, you're in high school, your first real love, it's just a great song. And it's called I Want to Know. So I wrote that song for that film. And Roman was the partner that was going to be doing he's an independent film producer. I met him because of that project and his company's Passion Project. And I said, well, is it just for this film, or no, this is my company, it's my passion. I said, well, this is my passion. So right away we just hit it off, and he helped me finish a video I'd been working on for a long time. And now here we are. Let's take this passion that we both have to do something positive. Maybe we can turn it into something where we can help other people out.
Mm-hmm. So JD, so you lived a fairly, what I would call, exciting life before you lost your vision. So you were a base jumper. You used to jump off buildings, do very thrilling things in your life. Tell us a little bit about that.
Wow. I think the base jumping thing was just, depending on how you want to look at it, I was at the right place at the right time, or at the wrong place at the wrong time. My wife thinks the latter, right?
Probably does, I bet, yeah.
I literally, by sheer chance, happened to be at a drop zone where you go to skydive when I was 18 years old. And a filmmaker who's worldwide renowned named Carl Banish was showing a movie he had made called Skydive, which you can look it up and see it on any of the cable channels. The footage in that film of skydives just wowed me. Like, wow, I gotta do this. And then he showed in that film guys jumping off of El Capitan, which a lot of those guys are still with us. I'm friends with some of them to this day, 5 years later, whatever it is.
Wow.
And look that film up and watch it, and those images are just phenomenal. And that was my inspiration to move into that whole world. So like a year after that, they were building up what is now downtown Los Angeles, building high rises everywhere. I got a job. A friend of my father had a cabin up in the mountains in Big Bear. that a tree full of snow fell on and blew it apart. And
Mm.
I was a 21-year-old carpenter at the time. He asked me if I would go over there and repair it. So I was over there in the early spring of 1982, and they were just starting to jump off a building called the Crocker Center, which is now the Brown Wells Fargo building in
Oh,
downtown
wow.
LA. And you see it on every shot of downtown LA. It's on the north side when they do that flyby. That's that brown building. It was mostly completed, and a lot of guys had jumped it. I think I was the 26th guy to jump that building.
Mm.
And I went out there and scoped it out when we were in the mountains up there building that cabin. And I had a friend with me, and long story short, you can read about the whole story on the website. I went and jumped that building for the first time all by myself with no help. This
Wow.
is before all the great gear everybody had. We were using skydiving gear, not knowing anything about jumping off of fixed objects.
Mm.
And it was the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. And it's probably the most exhilarating thing I'd ever done in my life.
I bet.
And that just led one thing to another. So the next 3 weekends later, I have a friend and I, part of the base thing is jumping off an antenna or a tower. A friend of mine had found 1,000-foot smokestack right here in Arizona, and that became our tower. We're the first people ever in the world to make a parachute jump off of a smokestack.
Wow. That's
And
crazy.
yeah, we did that. And then we went up to Lake Powell,
Hmm.
and we jumped off the bridge behind Lake Powell for our bridge, which is your structure. Got arrested. That's a fun story. Best looking judge ever. That's what we always talk about to this day. And then I ended up making a jump off of a cliff out in western Arizona. That was another really dumb idea, and thank goodness I got away with it. But it just sparked a passion in me. And of course, I had met Carl Banish, the filmmaker,
Hmm.
became in contact with him, and then from there, the rest is history.
Wow. That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Unbelievable, actually. All of that, just crazy.
It's crazy because we were married at a young age. We had a little girl at home, and
My friend Christy.
your friend Christy, that's right.
That's what I'll say. I
Uh,
wish Christy still lived here,
I
as
know.
I'm sure you all
I
do
know. We could shame her into moving back. Let's shame her right now. Christy, move your ass back near to your mother and your friends. Okay? Please. So daddy can play with your babies.
Yeah, I know, but
I
she
miss
loves
my
where
babies.
she's at, so
That's
that's good.
true. But I just saw an opportunity to move into the stunt industry, and I started building parachute gear, and I built these parachutes that were inside of a suit that you could not tell was wearing a rig.
Mm.
Like you see these James Bond movies where some guy gets chucked out of an airplane with no parachute on, and it's plain as day in the film. The guy's got a coat over a rig. You couldn't see mine. It had no hardware on them. It was sewn harness. It was awesome.
Mm.
And I was just starting to get somewhere with that with a couple of people. And I worked on some pretty good TV commercials and a few things, but you make a lot of money, and then you didn't get a job for 6 months. And I had a wife and a kid. Then I got a second kid, and I had to get a real job.
Steady income.
Yeah, steady income
Yeah.
and insurance. Oh my gosh, that came in handy down the
Oh,
road.
definitely.
Yeah.
So, with this latest project, tell people that are interested in learning more about it how they can learn more about it.
Well,
What website or phone number can they access?
The website is thejdwalkerproject.com, and we're building it now, and we will be adding things to it, and we want to have fun with it. We want to have gag reels. We want to have fun with finding some sponsors. We want people to want to look forward to seeing what's next week. What's next week? We'll start a social media circle with Facebook and Twitter and all of those usual social circles. And we just want to have fun with it. And we want to make people aware of what we're doing. My music highlights things that are important to all of us. Our friends. I have some great songs about friends that are with us, no longer with us. I have great songs about my grandkids and my kids, and I have a great song about having a boy. I have a great song about having a little girl. And they're very inspirational to me, and they're works that take me. I'm not a trained musician, so everything is hard for me. And with playing a guitar, it is a struggle for me given my vision, because the further away something is, the worse it is.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see a guitar neck where my hand is right here unless there's contrasting colors on it, light and dark. I can't see the fret markers, and that's a struggle for me. So there are struggles, but when you get done with it, for me, it's a sense of achievement, and I've got something I can share with anybody who's had a baby, anybody who's had a little girl, anybody who's had a little guy. They're fun songs, they're emotional songs, and that's what we want to do, is have fun. And then the other side of it is expose people to these amazing humans that you won't get to know, because I hate to say it, guys, you got to die before I write a song about you, at least at this point in time. But they just bring back fabulous memories of fun things we've done. And I'm writing a memoir right now about all these things. And it's just, I can sit up all night and just think of one great thing after another. It's going to be a lot of fun to wrap that up and get it out there. And people, I think, will be enthralled with some of these crazy things guys did in those years.
Well, it sounds like you've lived an exciting life and you're trying to honor your friends, the ones that you've lost, the ones that are still here, and then also, thank your family for supporting you through all of the things that you've been through in your life, which is amazing and what we all want, I think, at the end of the day. So it's been an honor and a privilege talking to you and sharing your story and listening to it. And I'm excited to go check out your website. So if you'd like to learn more about JD's project, go to thejdwalkerproject.com to learn more and follow his story going forward. And we thank you for your support and your viewership.
There's a big world out there that we could talk about. And I would personally love to be able to take this to a space where it makes a bunch of money and I can give it all away to projects that I find near and dear.
There you go.
So that would be awesome. I think I love guys who make a lot of money and give it away. That's I love that. My favorite music, the really good guys take their money and give it away, so a lot of it anyway. You got to live, but.
I know this is your passion.
Yeah. And it's passion for me. It totally is. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm the future, man. We got the future. We got tomorrow. Let's make the most of it.